Breaking news. Shukai and Tan Songyun confirm secret relationship. Romance sparked on set turns into real-life love story. The world of Chinese entertainment has seen its fair share of rumored romances, covert glances, and cryptic Weibo posts. But none quite as captivating, nor as emotionally satisfying, as this one. After months of speculation, Shukai and Tan Songyun have officially confirmed what fans have long suspected. They're in a relationship, and it all began with a scene that wasn't even in the script. Their joint Weibo announcement at midnight took fans by storm. No press conference, no manager statements, just one candid photo, hand in hand on a quiet mountain road, with a caption that sent shockwaves through the sea entertainment industry. What began in fiction turned into something we could no longer hide. Thank you for seeing us, truly. Okai and Songyun. But what fans didn't expect. The story behind their romance is more cinematic than anything they've ever filmed. It all began during filming for their 2024 hit drama Fated Lanterns, a slow-burn historical romance set in the Tang dynasty. Shukai played a stoic imperial bodyguard, Tan Songyun, a palace maid with a hidden identity. But it was one unscripted moment, a scene added last minute due to weather delays, that changed everything. A thunderstorm had cut power to the outdoor set in SONGYUN. Director Ju Wei improvised, telling the leads to simply sit beneath the lantern tree and improvise something, anything, to keep the mood alive. What followed stunned everyone. They just started talking, said a crew member. It wasn't acting anymore. They forgot the cameras. They weren't Shukai and Tan Songyun. They were just two people discovering something real in the rain. That scene, now known among fans as the Lantern Confession, went viral within hours of the episode's release. But few knew just how much of it came from the heart. In the months that followed, fans noticed subtle changes. Shukai, known for his aloof persona, was suddenly smiling more in interviews. Tan Songyun, long admired for her bubbly warmth, appeared calmer, almost glowing. Behind the scenes, sparks were flying. On-set assistants reported the two constantly sitting next to each other between takes, whether on props, stays, or simply the floor. They shared earbuds during sound checks. They brought each other snacks. Shukai once reportedly ran across the studio lot in full costume just to hand her a thermos before her solo shoot. It was a way they looked at each other when they thought no one was watching, said the drama's cinematographer. Not lust, not flirtation, just connection. Still, they were professionals. Nothing was confirmed, nothing obvious, until fans caught them in a moment that couldn't be explained away. It happened in March 2025, at the airport. Tan Songyun was heading to a fan event in Shenzhen. Shukai was supposedly flying to Sonya for a commercial shoot. But paparazzi lenses caught the truth. Both stars entered through different terminals, but emerged from the same black SUV an hour later. What caught fans' attention wasn't the SUV. It was the backpack. A tan, vintage canvas backpack Tan Songyun had carried during Fated Lanterns, her character's only possession from childhood, was now slung across Shukai's shoulder. Fans quickly traced it. It wasn't a prop. It was Songyun's personal bag, and Shukai was wearing it casually, protectively, like it had always belonged to him. Social media erupted with the hashtag #KaiCarriesAPast. Still, no word from either camp. Until the concert moment. In May 2025, Shukai made a surprise appearance at the Tencent Anniversary Gala, where he joined a medley performance of theme songs from hit dramas. But instead of the expected arrangement, he broke into a solo piano version of Whispering Wind, the main love theme from Fated Lanterns. As he played, a single spotlight illuminated the stage. And from the darkness, Tan Songyun emerged, unannounced, and sang the final verse live. Their eyes never left each other. The performance ended with silence. No bows, no smiles. Just Shukai reaching out his hand, Tan Songyun taking it, and both exiting stage right, together. Weibo shattered under the weight of reposts, reactions, and fan theories. But it wasn't until the mounting getaway that things became undeniable. In July 2025, blurry photos began circulating on Douban. Two figures walking hand-in-hand down a misty path in Qinghai province, surrounded by pine trees and silence. The man wore a dark hoodie. The woman had a wool cap pulled low. But their posture, their height difference, and, most telling, the dog walking ahead of them, confirmed to be Tan Songyun's rescue puppy, Momo, left no doubt. For 3 days, neither of them posted anything. No denials, no clarifications, just silence. And then, their joint Weibo post dropped. Fan responses were euphoric, emotional, and overwhelmingly supportive. One post read, "We watched them fall in love on screen. We just didn't know we were also watching them fall for real." Another wrote, "This is not just a drama come to life. This is a love letter to all of us who believe in gentle, enduring love." Even major celebrities joined in. Zhao Luzi, "I knew it. The way Shuji looked at her in episode 18, that was real." By Jingting, "Protect them at all costs." Yangzi, "Finally, they deserve joy." Only 48 hours after confirming their relationship, Shu Kai and Tan Songyun appeared in a candid, intimate interview with Vogue China, filmed in a quiet garden surrounded by wildflowers and soft sunlight. They sat side by side, fingers laced, faces calm but radiant. When asked how long they had been together, Songyun smiled shyly. "We don't really count the days. It began in moments. Small ones. A shared umbrella. A missed line. Laughter after midnight." Shu Kai added, "We didn't plan it. We didn't want to fall for each other during work. But sometimes, fate doesn't ask permission." They revealed that their families had met during Lunar New Year and that Songyun had taught Kai's niece how to cook dumplings. "We're just grateful," Kai said. "We've both been through things. But now we walk through it together." According to exclusive sources, the couple is already in talks to co-star in a modern romantic thriller set in Shanghai, one that explores themes of dual identities, loyalty, and redemption. Filming may begin as early as fall. They are also reportedly considering launching a charity foundation for children's arts education, inspired by their shared love of storytelling and performance. When asked if marriage was on the horizon, Shu Kai simply smiled and said, "Let's just say, I've found my forever co-star." In a world that often rewards flash over substance, Shu Kai and Tan Songyun have chosen a quieter, deeper path, one lit not by the camera's glare, but by the soft, steady glow of trust. They didn't fall in love for headlines. They didn't perform affection for public approval. They built something off-screen, with patience, respect, and real connection. And now, the world knows. The production schedule had been delayed twice that week. Tempers were running thin. Tan Songyun had been filming a particularly emotional breakdown scene earlier that day, and Shu Kai had been nursing a minor shoulder injury from a fight choreography gone wrong. Most actors would have phoned it in, memorized the lines, hit their marks, waited for cut. But what happened that night wasn't scripted, and it wasn't acting. The location was already poetic. A centuries-old wutong tree on the farthest edge of the studio lot, dressed in glowing red lanterns swaying against the wind. A light drizzle had started to fall, causing droplets to collect on the paper lanterns like tears waiting to drop. The crew had assembled only minimal lighting, relying instead on the natural glow of the lanterns and a few handheld reflectors. There were no dolly tracks, no cranes, just a single handheld camera operated by the assistant director himself. The plan was simple. The characters would sit beneath the tree, reflecting on their journey. The director gave them a vague prompt: "Don't use the script. Just speak as your characters. Let the moment guide you." Tan Songyun walked into the frame first, wrapped in her deep plum-colored hanfu, hair styled in loose braids. She took a seat on a low stone bench beneath the tree and looked up at the falling light. Then Shu Kai entered, clad in dark armor and royal silk, his face illuminated only by the lantern glow. He didn't speak immediately. What followed next, no one on set has ever forgotten. The camera rolled. Shu Kai stood behind her for several seconds, saying nothing. Then finally, in a low voice, one the boom mic nearly missed, he spoke. "I used to believe loyalty meant silence. Now I think it means choosing who you're willing to break your silence for." Tan Songyun turned, slowly. Her reply wasn't rehearsed. "I used to wait for lanterns to carry my wishes. Now I realize they were always meant to carry my fears." No one on set moved. Even the director was frozen behind the monitor. The lines weren't dramatic in the usual sense. There were no declarations, no confessions, just vulnerability, raw, naked, and utterly disarming. Shukai moved closer, not in a rehearsed choreography, but with the hesitance of someone uncertain of the line between fiction and truth. He lowered himself beside her and whispered, almost too quietly, "Is it still acting if my heart forgets we're being watched?" Tan Songyun blinked. For a brief moment, her real expression broke through the character. Then, softly, "I think it only starts being real when we forget who we're pretending to be." She turned toward him, their shoulders touching. A raindrop hit her cheek, and Shukai, completely off script, reached out to brush it away. "Don't let the sky cry for you," he said. "Not when I'm here." The camera continued to roll. The director didn't call cut immediately. He let the silence sit, thick, fragile, sacred. When the scene finally ended, no one clapped. The crew simply stared, as if they'd witnessed something they weren't supposed to see. Something too real. Shukai stood and offered Tan Songyun his hand, not as a scene partner, but as a man caught in something larger than fiction. She took it, their fingers laced without hesitation. For the rest of the night, they barely spoke to anyone else. They didn't have to. Later that evening, the assistant director and the cinematographer watched the raw footage on a portable monitor under a tent, rain still falling outside. As they replayed the scene, they noticed things the live eye had missed. The way Shukai's voice cracked when he said, "Break your silence." The slight tremble in Tan Songyun's lip before she looked away. The way they instinctively leaned into each other, even when the dialogue didn't call for it. "It wasn't a scene anymore," said the cinematographer. "It was a memory being born." The lighting had gone from accidental to ethereal. The rain, which was initially seen as a nuisance, had coated the stone and lanterns in reflective shimmer. The wind caught just enough to rustle the tree behind them, as if nature itself had agreed to collaborate. "It looked like the world paused," the AD said. "Just for them." That night marked a shift in everything. The chemistry between Shukai and Tan Songyun on screen became magnetic. Critics began commenting on the unusual tension in their scenes. Fans flooded Dubbin forums, analyzing every glance, every hand placement, every unscripted moment. What they didn't know was that something had shifted. Off camera, Shukai began arriving earlier to set. He would wait near Songyun's trailer, sometimes without even knocking, just standing there until she emerged. She started wearing a specific jade pin in her hair, one that sharp-eyed fans later identified as matching a ring Shukai wore during press events. The ring had the same emblem, a lantern beneath 2 stars. They never spoke of the scene publicly.